So, in my first video, I had introduced certain things that I forgot to talk about. First was that there was an article that I had read which showed that there were some scientists who found that even if an area has a large quantity of greenery, it doesn't always prove to be health beneficial, or it didn't have oxygen or something like that they had said in the article. And I am forgetting the details of the article because I just took the essence of that article being supportive of what I have myself observed. And what is it that I had observed was what I kind of found from that article, also indicating towards that though those scientists couldn't understand in their conclusions why this was happening, but there was a they might have understood it, but maybe the person who referenced those scientific articles didn't understand it. So whatever is the reason, I didn't read the original article, I only read someone's article post about the original research article. But what was present in the essence of the message that I saw was this: that if greenery is there, it doesn't necessarily equate to health. And why it doesn't necessarily equate to health is because it depends on how you are sustaining the greenery, what you are doing to increase the green ratio of a city. Say I live in Navi Mumbai. Navi Mumbai is a densely populated, one of the highly populated cities of India. Now, Navi Mumbai has a lot of greenery compared to Mumbai. And I grew up in Mumbai when I was a child. Until 22 years of age, I lived in Mumbai. But again, in Mumbai, I lived in a part of Mumbai whose greenery was higher than the greenery that is there in Navi Mumbai. It is in between the greenery of Navi Mumbai and more than the greenery of highly populated places of Mumbai. So, as a result, I have grown up with greenery a lot during most of my life in India and even my life in US, where I lived in a city called Salt Lake City, which again has high greenery ratio compared to other cities of US. And in Salt Lake City, the other thing that was different from India was, while the greenery was good quality, there were also less humans living in the same city as compared to the number of humans who live in a city like Mumbai or Navi Mumbai. Now, I have also grown up and visited family in other parts of India who live in West Bengal, and one part of my family lives in village and town like areas. Other part of my family lives in Kolkata, which is the capital of West Bengal, again which is a densely populated city. But luckily for me, trees were around most of my cultural heritage places wherever I would visit with my family or stay in my family's homes when visiting West Bengal. So I have always seen greenery around me. So I know how greenery impacts our health. As a student of biology, as a student of health, I have also seen how greenery has impacted my own health. And in this, I was understanding that's why the essence of what the article has detected, but maybe they haven't understood yet, which is what? If greenery isn't in the right ratios, obviously it will impact our health. But simply the ratio of greenery doesn't lead to good quality health for anyone. How? This is what I want to address. Like in Navi Mumbai, when my dad moved in here, it was around 2008. When I moved in here, it was around 2015. From 2008 to 2015 itself, the ratio of greenery had reduced in this area because more construction happened, more buildings came up, and now the number of humans in this area is more. The ratio of greenery has gone down. Maybe they have, let's say they had planted 100 trees here in Navi Mumbai when this area was built. But out of those 100 trees, even if they retained say 80 trees and only 20 trees were cut, and I'm giving a very approximation, it's not 100 trees, there are more than 100 trees and plants here. But if say 100 trees were planted here, and in the 20-30 years of their plantation, now only 80 trees are remaining and 20 trees have died, but apart from, or they had been killed and cut away for construction activities. But the problem is not that there are only still 80 trees. The ratio of greenery might looking wise look like there is still a lot of greenery in comparison to another city where in say a place of Mumbai where only 20 trees are there. Our ratio is still high. They have only 20 trees, we still have 80 trees. So the ratio looks high. But if we just look at the ratio, is that enough to tell us whether a person's health is good or whether that will be health supportive? No, because say in those 20 tree area, there is only 10 human beings breathing oxygen from that tree. Now you have to look at the ratio of the population in comparison to the trees as well. So if 10 humans are there and 20 trees are there, and in Navi Mumbai 100 trees were there and 100 humans were there, what is the ratio? For 100 humans there is only one each human there is only one tree, whereas in that area for each human there is 2 trees. So the area where a person has access to 2 trees to give them oxygen, will that person have a better quality health than the area where a person has less trees to give them oxygen? So that comparison is necessary to determine right health factors. Scientifically, I'm now talking about the scientific sense, but there is more to this than simply the science involved. Now this is where I'm going to talk the more aspect. Now in the same area where 100 humans were living and there were 100 trees, if now only 80 trees are there, but the number of humans have increased from 100 humans to 160 humans. Now this area and the other area has now same proportion, that there are is again much more disproportion than the other area where there were 20 trees and 10 humans. Say there was no population increase there because it was a village, and in that village it's still the same ratio, that 10 humans are there and 20 trees are there. So each human still gets to breathe 2 oxygen from 2 trees. But here now each human, the number of humans have doubled. So earlier when each human had at least 1 tree, now the human is getting only oxygen levels from half a tree, because other humans are also there breathing that, right? Now like that, if the population keeps increasing, the number of trees are same, and the people might be following the government policy also of not cutting down the trees. But according to the proportion of the population increase, have you planted more trees to give them oxygen? Is housing the only factor needed for development of a city? No, but humans very falsely have decided that if we give housing to everyone, that is all that is needed. But that is the false premise. If you give housing, but if you don't provide water, don't provide trees, if trees are not there, we won't have oxygen. So if the trees in these areas start dying or they are near death, then also if say in the same area that I am living, say those areas of those 20 tree area where 20 trees are there, 10 humans are there, for decades and centuries they have been living in this area. Say now these trees are dying. When the trees are dying, when us as humans, when I am sick or when I am dying, I am not able to do many of my body functions. If you have elderly in your home, they are bedridden, so many of them. If you have a disabled person in your home, they are also immobile and not able to do normal functions. When you have cancer or any other illness, I will not do physically many functions which I would do if I didn't have cancer. Right? So every time we are sick, some of our functional capacity reduces. We are sick, we are disabled, we are cut. Something is cutting down in our body, shutting down in our body, so we can't work. So same way, if those areas where there were 20 trees, the trees are there, but their wood has been cut by these people because they like to use wood for cooking, will they again have the same oxygen? No. If 10 years back they never cut the trees were flourishing, big large scale trees were there, and the amount of oxygen you will get from a large healthy big tree that has not been cut is not going to be the same as the same tree still being there, but if its branches have been cut, right, your oxygen level goes down. So even if there were 20 trees, now also there are 20 trees, but only half of their branches remain, Again, you've depleted your oxygen supply because you didn't plant any extra trees there to replenish the wood that you have cut for some purpose. So that also adds to your problem. So if you just count the number of trees, will it help you in understanding whether health is being impacted, or do you have to observe and understand also with clarity where the lack of health is coming from? If someone's lungs were used to breathing a lot of air from 20 trees, or 2 trees per person was giving them the air, even now there are 2 trees, but one of the tree is dead, or one of the tree is near death, or one of the trees or both trees have been cut down in half, I won't get the same oxygen from it. So all of that will impact my health. Now there is even more to the story than this. If you just simply observe this, that is not enough now. Why? Because what has humans been doing for centuries and decades? All humans have been using so many chemicals in our environment, so many chemicals to sustain trees. Like when a tree is actually near death or going to die, it may start getting termites and other insects that is eating away the dead rotting leaves and other things. The purpose of insects are to eat the dead rotten things, because that is their biological function, and also because after they will eat away all the dead rotten tree parts, whatever the insects life cycle is, insects have a small life cycle, most of them, and I am not an entomologist, so I would need help from an entomologist to speak more deeply about this. But intuitively, this is the guidance I've got from meditation and my observation of a purpose of an insect in a human's life, is that the insects can also, and what biology, small amount of insect related biology I had read in my childhood days, this is what I understand from observation, from studies, and from some minimalistic knowledge of biology that I had in my schooling, that insects can, whatever insects are eating and chewing down and doing their, when they are doing their normal natural functions, the poop of the insects, the dead body of the insects, if the insects are living a organic life like how humans are trying to live a organic life, if insects live a organic life, chemical free life, healthy life, whatever functions the insects do is beneficial for the soil of that area. And then when the insects give the excreta, or the insects have died and they are disintegrated into the soil, the nutrients given to the soil, and that is why, if you know, there are some Southeast Asian countries that have insects also in their meals. Indians don't eat insects. I find eating insects very gross, but if they have also got to eat the insects, because insects can provide you, and the research work in US has shown that insect proteins can also be beneficial for some purposes. So as a result of it, insects are beneficial to humans. Some people do eat insects. Some people have used insects for research purposes to create like granola bar like stuff. And I have also seen articles when I used to live in US which have shown, and this is something recent that I found in India also, in US, which was a company that was using insect related dyes for one of their products. That company is, I'll name the company because this is a common knowledge, Starbucks strawberry flavored drink was using, in order to become more health aligned, nature aligned, and possibly to cut down some costs, they decided to, instead of using artificial coloring for the pink color of that strawberry drink, they started using insects for pink coloring of that drink. Now I think they have stopped doing it because people were getting allergies and other issues came up, so they don't do it. But there is a company in India I have observed who are coloring their nutritional drink for cancer patients with a insect based protein in it, because, or something insect based is being used, either it's insect based or insecticide based, I don't know. And I'm going to name the company because I complained to the company, and this product issue hasn't stopped in some of the products that I still buy from them. This company is Ensure Drinks, and I have been drinking Ensure for many years. I have drunk Ensure liquid ones in US. So I have been a regular customer of this company, so I know the product difference as soon as the product changes. Now, whether it is happening in every Ensure manufacturing facility, I don't know. But the Ensure drinks that I drank, I was drinking Ensure chocolate drinks, drinking Ensure vanilla drinks for many years when I was near cancer levels, and it was helping me with manage that. But suddenly in the last 2-3 years or 2-3 months, 1 year or something, last few times when I bought Ensure, the chocolate ones, I have found that very insect like smell from it. I have a very sharp nose, so I can detect that. I found insect like smell, and when I am mixing the drink inside water, like I take this glass of water and I take one glass drink for the Ensure, when I'm mixing it in water, I also smell pesticide in it. Why? Now the company, it is up to them. I complained to them, they didn't resolve they complained resolution system of India is really bad, because India has a very bad there is a large population scale, but how customer service is done in India is poor, because they don't understand customer service. They don't understand that if a customer is complaining, placating someone is not the solution to that. Is not called customer service. Customer service is not simply placating someone. Customer service, if you are evolving in customer service, is addressing the customer issue. They gave me a replacement drink. That replacement product also had some problems. So I can keep complaining, but I am sick. And more than sick, I have so many topics to talk about, of which I make all these videos. That's why I can't keep pursuing a complaint there. If someone has sitting idly at home, has nothing better to do, is wanting to do some time pass, he can go and experiment with these Ensure drinks, whether they actually have pesticides. Because if you are watching this video, do it. If you have the time and money and resources, please do it. I have found insecticides, insect like smell in Ensure drinks, the chocolate drinks, available in Navi Mumbai area. And I have bought from different retailers, not just one retailer. So I found insect smell in it, I found insecticide smell in it, and the insecticide smell was doubled when I mixed it in my water supply, because insecticide is also there in my local water supply, which despite using a filtration device, sometimes can still have some insecticide in it. So this is the problem of modern health as a consequence of seemingly health supportive activities that humans thought were health supportive, but they are not. Which is what? You might think I'm digressing from topic to topic, and which is very true, but they are all interconnected. And I'm going to bring it back into what is the interconnection? The interconnection is this: humans, when we are raising a tree, or when we see some insects are coming to eat away my leaves, eat away my tree bark, eat away my flowers, eat away my fruits, when humans are doing it at the gardening scale, to large scale farming scale, to organic farming scale, whatever scale they are doing it, anytime humans see an insect come and eat the product, they think they are harming me, and they immediately want to use insecticides. And use of insecticides has been going on, pesticides, insecticides, both has been going on for many decades to centuries of our life. What has happened as a result of it is, these insects can't do their normal job. Whatever I told you biologically what insects are supposed to do, they are supposed to chew away dead rotting trees with diseases. Then after the insects die, their natural death and also their excreta and other biological processes help in enriching our soil. That's why people who are doing home gardening go and buy these fancy bins in which they can do bio recycling and whatnot, and which helps them with vermiculture, vermicomposting bins are there, or that they can buy. What is vermicompost and vermiculture bins or vermiculture compost? It is basically worms. Worms are also insects. They are just the from worms. If these worms can become butterflies and other things, again an entomologist will have to enter here but this discussion. But what I'm trying to say is that insects have a purpose, and if we destroy the purpose of those insects, we are destroying nature. When we destroy nature, the last way it is destroying us is via Starbucks drinks using an insect for coloring, or via this Ensure drink using an insect for coloring or protein purposes. Because if they have used it, and they have not just used an insect, this time I found insect in them. Few years back I had also detected that to substitute the calcium, they were using sea products for their calcium use. So because calcium carbonate, which can be used in many nutritional drinks, many medications, calcium carbonate sources, if or from land, are going away or depleting, or if they want it to be cheaper or something, they might go and try to get it from a shellfish, or like from a crab, or any kind of sea creature which has some coating in it, which will provide this calcium carbonate. So those sea creatures that they are using as their source, how did I detect it? Because I have a sixth sense. And also second reason for me to detect is because I developed shrimp related allergies in US few years back, and ever since then any kind of shrimp like product, if I smell that, I can tell that a product has shrimp in it. So I found that shrimp like smell in these Ensure drinks, where the calcium had been changed by using some sea creature as a source instead of normal other calcium carbonate sources that they were likely using, or calcium sources that they were likely using previously. So why am I talking about this? Let's come back. Both, if it is being substituted by a sea animal, if you have seafood allergy, you don't know whether your medicine or your health drink or your even Starbucks drink or a sandwich you're eating, if they are using something that has, say, some natural coloring, they're giving the natural color label, natural tag to it, that this is a very natural product. It is true, it is a natural product. There is nothing unnatural Ensure has done by substituting calcium from some inorganic source of calcium to a organic source of calcium. In fact, they might think in their brains that this is a healthy thing because I am using a natural animal to give me the calcium rather than a rock to give me the calcium. Because calcium can come from rocks also, like rock salt is there. Calcium can come from rock sources. But calcium can come also from an animal. But why is this harmful in their product for a person like me is because I have selfish allergies. Now if I didn't have this sharp sixth sense nose, and also if drinking that drink didn't cause me some skin irritation problems, I wouldn't know that there was a calcium change in it. And I would continue drinking it, and eventually what will happen, even if I don't have the sixth sense, even if I didn't get some mild allergic reaction, if that calcium source is harmful to me and that source of my allergy is still present in that product, after consuming this product for multiple times, one day I might develop a sudden reaction, which what will the doctor call that reaction? They will say it is a idiosyncratic reaction. They will say it is a sudden anaphylactic reaction. These are the common terms a doctor might use if the doctor found from his investigation that I had an allergic response. If the doctor only found that I had a respiratory arrest or cardiac arrest as a result of a allergy, because that can also happen, in my report, if the depth of the doctor will determine what is my actually cause of death. If the doctor has done good analysis, knows the patient history, he will figure out, okay, they had an allergy, and if the patient had observed it also. Because I observed this irritation that I got from this Ensure drink with calcium, which was coming from a selfish source, which 10 years back I had a selfish allergy. That's why I know I have selfish allergy. I am a pharmacist, so I know all these clinical terms that I used here. I am also someone with a sixth sense ability, so I know that this drink has some calcium source which is coming from a sea animal which I am allergic to. I have all these information. But after all this information, if I only get allergy, or sometimes my allergies, I have had different layers of allergies from different products when I was falling sick, and as a result of some allergy, sometimes I get choking in my throat, like my when you gulp down water or chew down food, your peristalsis motion should be continuous so that the food and water goes down your gastrointestinal tract. But when you have an allergic response to some drink you are consuming, food you are consuming, and they are highly allergic to your body, immediately your throat will do this. They will clamp up, and this peristalsis motion of my gastrointestinal tract will not happen. It will just simply clamp up here. Now if I get this clamping up, I know I am allergic to this. And if someone has had suffered long-term allergies with many products, or knows that they are allergic to 5, 6, 7, 8 different things in their life, they will be mindful that I will not take these products. But when I know that shellfish is there in my product, like if I go to a restaurant and it is a seafood restaurant, my job, when I know that I have allergies to seafood, I will not either go to a seafood restaurant, or if I do go to that restaurant, I have to be still careful that if I eat even a vegetarian item from that restaurant, I am eating only, they had to prepare it in the right health safe aligned manner. If any cross contamination, if say they are cooking, one person is cooking vegetarian item, one person is cooking seafood item in the same restaurant, because I have gone to a place called Maharashtra Lunch Home, where you get seafood, fish, other kinds of different fishes, and my family eats fish, but I don't eat fish. And in that time I went with some people, some cooked fish, some ordered prawns, some ordered vegetarian food. Now if they are cooking in 3 different places, where if their cooking is happening in such a way that there is no cross contamination between the seafood and vegetarian food, I might be okay. But sometimes I have gone to restaurants where they're giving me vegetarian food. Many like Chinese restaurants, Indian restaurants have gone, where they have both non-veg and veg menu in there. And now if I go and eat the vegetarian food also, sometimes in the vegetarian food, if say they by mistake also use the same oil that they cooked for frying some fish or frying some egg, I'm eating a papad, or I'm eating those in Manchurian or manchow soup and all, they give all these noodle like fried noodles. Those noodles are also, even though manchow soup, I'm eating a vegetable manchow soup, the fried noodles have been fried in a oil which was either cross contaminated, or it was the same oil used for frying this manchow. Like they might have fried a shellfish prawn in that, or eggs in there, and then they are frying this manchow. And I don't have, at that time when I don't have severe allergy, I can still eat this, because I'm not a very puja oriented person, ritualistic person, or complaining kind of a person. I might eat it. But if I am having health issues, or if I have decided that from today onwards I will not eat even a speck of non-veg, then I won't eat that manchow. I will throw it away. That noodles, I can't eat it because it is smelling, and if I am also if it is smelling of shrimp, I will definitely throw away, because I have shrimp allergies. And my allergies main thing is, even if sometimes you are only getting choking, sometimes you are only getting skin irritation, sometimes the choking can be respiratory choking and respiratory failure, sometimes it can be cardiac arrest. Many people die of these allergies if they are not aware. So if Ensure doesn't show in their product that they are using seafood as their source for some of their products, anyone who has seafood allergy can die. If they don't show in their products that they are using insects for their protein purposes, or any, not just Ensure, any other health supplement drinks. Sometimes health supplement drinks are there that have, like, they will say it's all, and they will say also that it's organic product, it is natural product. All these labels have come up in many product packagings. Now the labels itself are a problem, because the people don't understand why the labels should exist or why they shouldn't exist. Because I have allergy problem, I understand the value of a product label and product package showing this. 20 years back, 15 years back, when I worked as a pharmacist, some patients would come and specifically ask me, can you tell me whether this injection has this ingredient in it? And if the product packaging label showed me that it has it, good for that patient, because then he or she knows that this product with this particular ingredient I am allergic to, I cannot take. But say there is another injection that they come and their product packaging doesn't show that that injection has the ingredient that this lady is allergic to, but actually that product did have that ingredient, but either the manufacturer forgot to put it there, or the manufacturer has substituted and doesn't remember that these products, it might be like very used in very micro quantities, that's why they didn't list it in their product labels, but it is still there in that product. Or even if they produce two products and there was cross contamination happening as a result of the two products, and that has caused micro quantities of this thing that the manufacturer can't list because the manufacturer doesn't use it in that product, but another product they make uses that ingredient, and there was some cross contamination. All these things can cause that same product which is not listed with a thing she is allergic to, but she might still develop an allergy to it, right? And how am I getting these contexts? By developing my own allergies, I realized this, how it deepens. When the patient came at that time, I once or twice when initially patients were coming, I was not so empathetic and wondering why they are asking about these ingredients. But slowly over time, I realized, okay, I asked them the question, why do you need to know about these ingredients? Then they told me that I need to know because I have allergies, or someone in my family has allergies, so I can't buy a product which doesn't list all the ingredients that are there. But even with listing of ingredients, there is a third aspect called cross contamination, where that's why mindful work is very necessary for all of us. And more than mindful work, the reason why I am explaining all this again off tangent seemingly issues is that they are connected to our health. So coming back to the tangent of the original message, plants. If plants have been sprayed by insecticides, a simple plant like a genda full that we use during our Indian festivals. With genda full, what was the thing that I observed happened is, when eventually after moving to my place, I found a flower seller. I had bought some flowers from them. I bought them a couple of times. And during one festival season time, I don't remember which festival, I think it was Diwali only. During this Diwali time, what happened that year, those flowers I bought, usually in India, genda full stays for so long, it doesn't get destroyed easily. If you put it in front of God, by evening, 3-4 days, 1 week, 2 weeks also it can take to disintegrate. And then because sometimes people do pujas and they collect all the flowers in one packet. My mom used to do that. She would collect all the flowers in a packet and then we would throw in some water source. That is some Indians do. So genda full stays in front of the God for so long. If not genda full, if you use rose flower or any strong large flowers, those flowers usually take longer to disintegrate. But this time I saw within that I had bought this, they gave me a lot of flowers for the amount of money I paid them. So I had like 20-30 flowers. Of those 20-30 flowers, because it was festival time, they had mass scale flowers available also in the market. Because I also observed some additional places in my area where more extra flower sellers were selling it during festival time. But these mass scale, mass produced things like in India, because if a regular flower person say buys 10 kgs of flowers for his regular customers, during that festival time that 10 kg demand only goes up to 20-30 kg demand. So that's why he may stock 20-30 kg, but even then in front of him there might be a long line during festival time. So what happens is other flower vendors also start coming and start selling on the roads. So the demand of those 10 kg, that is a normal or 1-2 kg supply that this flower vendor keeps normally, that has increased to 5-10 times the demand now during festival times. During festival times, more people are trying to raise plants also to give the flowers. So these flowers that I bought, like say he gave me a bunch of 10 flowers. Of those 10 flowers, 3 or 4 of them rotted immediately within 1-2 hours. And the other flowers got these white fungus on them, which is where I'm coming back to chemical uses on plants. When humans demand has grown for something, be it a plant for incense sticks, be it a plant for festival time, be it a plant for sandalwood like plant or eucalyptus like plant for providing us naturopathy remedies, aromatic remedies, aromatherapy remedies, for festival purpose remedies, for spiritual healing remedies. All these things are coming up right now on earth, and it is a necessary thing to come up because natural plant based products are supposed to be the healthiest for our health. But there is a catch. What is the catch? Is offering a fungus filled flower a good offering to God? No. Is offering a fungus filled flower to breathing that also? Why we offer flower is flowers usually genda full gives this beautiful smell. Now if that flower is chemically injected regularly or like sprayed regularly with fungicides or pesticides and other chemicals, what is happening? If only a pesticide has been used on it, any insects which would have come to this genda full plant to eat away the petals that have fungus in it, because that is the insect's function, or if any insect would have come to get the nectar from it, because you have sprayed the plant with all these chemicals, neither the insect can come, nor the bird can come, nor the insect can eat it, that will eat away the rotten flowers or tell you at least that this flower is rotten, throw it away. But instead, if I'm chemically spraying the plant with pesticides, pests won't come and indicate to you that don't give this, pick this flower for puja purposes. Other thing, if the insect doesn't eat it partly, if you have put also fungicides on it, externally the flower will look very beautiful as if no fungus is there, and some fungicides, the external fungus might have been killed. But if fungal spores were still there in that plant, which could have been eaten by an insect or a bird, but because you are spraying chemicals on your plant, birds and insects can't come and do their natural job. Now what will happen? That fungus takes long time to grow. Fungus can take even 1 month to grow. So while the plant is looking healthy because I have sprayed fungicides on it and insecticides on it and nothing has been eaten, and my crop produces more, I am getting 100 kgs of these flowers now in my garden, whereas if I don't put insecticide, pesticide, I will get only 80 kgs. But who is the repercussions of this 100 kg flower that someone has bought from that gardener is that anyone else who's touching these flowers, including the gardener, firstly, you are, every time you're picking a flower, every time I'm offering a flower, every time I'm using a flower to make a garland, whichever supply chain of this flower someone is involved in, including the last person, that is me, our hands are chemically getting now exposed to all the chemicals that were used to preserve this flower. Now if the gardener made it an organic plant, but the supplier who is buying from him wants to store that flower in a cold storage for a few days before he will sell during festival time, he could have put pesticides and other chemicals on it to make it look beautiful. Again, if it is sprayed something to make something look beautiful, it doesn't naturally mean it is beautiful, and the whole essence of flower is now getting lost. The whole purpose of flower is it should give us natural scent. Whole purpose of offering flower to God is it should be a natural, healthy, health supportive thing we are giving to God as an offering to thank God for health supportive things of our life. But the whole supply chain is a health unsupportive. That people are not understanding. And unless we wake up to this, our health will deteriorate. Not just our health, but the gardener who is giving the chemicals, his health is deteriorating without realizing it. One day he will lose his hand from fungal infection, one day, because the more fungal, like how if people understand about bacteria related, bacteria, drug resistant bacteria have come up on earth, like that fungicide resistant fungus are also coming out on earth, insecticide resistant insects are also coming out on earth, because bacteria, fungus, insects, they all are necessary to indicate something about good direction of health and bad direction of health. These are all bad direction of health when we are chemically spraying our plants and food and flower and everything with chemicals. Because you yourself think that when mosquito repellent, the past videos that I made about pesticide related health issues on humans, in those, if those pesticides are making me, I'm this large human, sick with cancer eventually, if the mosquito repellent can cause lung damage, if a small agarbatti used in large scale can cause me breathing and cardiac problems, imagine that same spray, how it is impacting a tiny insect, a tiny flower, a tiny fruit, a tiny vegetable. How small is a fruit in comparison to me? How small is a genda fool in comparison to me? I am at least 100,000 times more in mass than a small flower. So in that chemical that is, and that small tiny insect, so that small flower, how much health harm have I caused to that flower by keeping on continuously spraying chemicals on it, right? And then after that, if the flower is dying and that's why the fungus is coming, while I bought it, it was looking very good. While the wholesaler bought it, it was looking very good. But in the 1 day, 2 day, 10 days after he bought it, when I finally bought it from him, in those 10 days the flowers are deteriorating and the fungus is starting to grow, which wouldn't happen. The flower would be better if no one first of all does this mass scale selling of flowers. Secondly, you just naturally, that's why many people are there. My grandmother never bought anything from outside. Both my grandmothers had a garden of flowers for their puja. My mother also had a garden of flowers for her puja. So she would use only the flowers from her garden. All of these three women in my life have used flowers from their garden for doing their puja, which controls the level of chemical exposure you will get from a flower. But if that same gardener, I have someone else in my home who comes and cooks for us, she does gardening practices, and I believe she doesn't use insecticides and pesticides for her gardening activities. But where we live in this Navi Mumbai area, water is polluted with insecticides and pesticides because regular pest control is done for mosquito repellent activities. And not just inside our homes, but outside, the municipality is also doing it, which contaminates our air and water supply of this area. As a result, 1 year, just before the rains, in the rainy season, a gust of wind came and a lot of rain happened. A small rain shower happened. It was only 5 minutes, 20 minutes rain shower. But in that 20 minutes also, all the air pollution and water pollution of that area was there in that gust of rain, such that all her beautiful flowers that she had raised in her home kitchen garden for 10-20 years died. Most of her flowers died. Because this is the problem now which humans have to understand. If humans want to survive and not get coronavirus, respiratory illness, cardiac illness, circulatory illness, organ damage, cancer, if we want to avoid that, or if we want to avoid a painful version of that, the higher the degree of chemical exposure to my body, higher is my chances of getting a very painful disease, long-term illness, painful illness. And if my exposure is less, then I won't get those illnesses. And which starts with these simple things as the flower I am using for puja. The flower, if I don't buy from the market, or if I slowly stop reducing the buying of that market, the wholesalers will stop, focusing on mass producing these things for us. Or if they are doing it, the wholesalers also have to understand, from the wholesaler to the local seller to the person who is just selling on the streets, to the retailer who is selling in his store, to the person who is growing these in his garden for selling. If every step you're adding 111 chemical, that 111 chemical, when it finally lands on my hand, is poisoning via my absorption of that chemical on my hands. And because of this reason also, women are getting sicker and sicker. There are medical gaslighting tales that I posted earlier about. This medical gaslighting is happening from where? Women do the most cleaning related activities, most vegetable, fruits, flowers, plant related activities in their home gardens, in eating their food. These are the mindful things women are doing to stay healthy. Women are doing to stay healthy. That's why I am praying to God. I want to be healthy. That's why I am doing some spiritualistic practices. Men do it a little lesser than women, but the more spiritual activities I do, more health also supportive practices I want to do. If each of the products that I use for my spiritual activity to physical health activity, if each of those products have some chemicals in them, I have multiple chemicals related malfunctions going on in my body. And when multiple chemical related malfunctions is going on, and I go to a doctor whose level of understanding of illness and disease is only about one chemical or one disease, he will not detect your health problem even if you have 10 diseases and 10 multiple organ failures going on at the same time. It literally happened to me. I had 5 different organ damage related conditions happening to the same organ as well. 5 different factors were damaging my heart. Then there were 5 different organs of my body or organ systems of my body which were malfunctioning at the same time, from different sources, from pesticides, from chemicals in the water, from chemicals in the air, from chemicals I used on my body, from showering to other things. All these different layers of chemicals were impacting my health. But if the doctor is unidirectional, doesn't know that multiple health factors can impact a patient, he's just sitting and looking for one disease when I have 10 diseases going on in moderate and lower scales. And a doctor in India especially, because they are usually seeing, most of the time they have been used to until now seeing the most severely ill patients, but they were all severely ill from one cause. If you were severely ill, say your heart is failing because you eat a lot of oily food, then you go to a cardiologist. Normal patient for a cardiologist used to be that someone who eats a lot of oily and fatty food, he has got cardiac issues, and the doctor will give you a prescription for controlling your cholesterol. Someone who has got breathing issues, asthma related issues, they might have either allergy related problems going on, inhalational allergy problems, or they might have been smoking. These are the 2 common reasons for respiratory tract illness. But these are not the truth of anyone's health anymore. My cardiac respiratory system is not separate unit. They are jointly combined in giving me air. My blood is also not a separate unit. It is jointly combined in providing me the cardiovascular systems, respiratory system and circulatory systems function. And if I am absorbing chemicals from my air via my skin, via my breathing, it will impact all 3 systems. And even if the doctor doesn't understand it, if the doctor doesn't give me medicine, and that is also another thing, there is a safety also why doctor didn't analyze and understand my health condition, because right now doctor can't help most of us. If say, because I have heard stories of some women who got one cancer, it took 1-2 years for them to detect the cancer, because cancer does take time to develop in the body. They found 1 level of cancer in her. They treated her for the cancer. She thought, okay, I'm fine. Now again 1-2 years later, they detected another type of cancer because she didn't recover, she still had illness. Now they detected another type of cancer in her body. Again she's going through the treatment. I read cases of some girl in India on Instagram. Same thing, she had one kind of cancer. After a few years she again got the same kind of cancer, and she's all like she's getting, these people are true that if you are getting multiple kinds of cancer, you are a sick person. You should get empathy, sympathy, everything from people. But both these women have to realize something. The reason why they are getting either same cancer again and again, or if you're getting 2-3 different kinds of cancer turn by turn, what it means is your environmental conditions, things you do and things outside of your control, both of which impact your health. So just getting treatment is not enough. Treatment only is enough when pristine conditions were there, conditions supporting your health are good. But this is why, even though I know I am in pre-cancer condition, some of the treatments I'm not I have to either get, I was at the sickest phase and the doctor couldn't detect what was happening. Now I am in a much better state. How will the doctor detect? Unless, and even if I tell, sometimes I went to a doctor with all the indicators of a particular illness, of pesticide poisoning, related poisoning symptoms were there in my body, but that doctor was in denial that I have pesticide poisoning. So I couldn't get the treatment for pesticide poisoning from her, or even the test approved for pesticide poisoning from her. But that doesn't stop me from getting poisoned by pesticides in my food, water, air, clothes, environment. And clothes, how am I getting pesticides? This, if this municipality of this area is monthly spraying pesticides, where is the pesticide in the air going to accumulate? It will come via the air vents into the mall. It will come via the air vents or windows into my home. It is going, if the mall itself is doing some pest control, it is going there. Whatever pest control has already happened in this area for 20-30 years and has ruined the underground water supply is also cross contaminating with my water pipelines. So it is coming via water into these malls, and these malls, what do? They use these sprays to but whatever scented sprays or diluted spray solution of something to keep the clothes looking very healthy and fresh and smelling nice. But because people are not mindfully doing something, they are not mindfully observing what they are doing, they don't understand that the water has got contaminated. They are using some contaminated water plus scent to spray my clothes. Now my clothes have both pesticide and scented chemical. That same cloth, if I wash again in the same water of this area which is polluted already, my cloth is continuously going to keep adding layer and layer of whatever chemical contamination is going on in this area and this area's water supply. So it can come from mall, it can come from my washing these clothes, it is coming from my breathing the same air when pesticide was sprayed. And there is no pest control law in India, where people don't even understand how harmful pesticides are. So people don't close their windows when pesticides are being sprayed. People don't know, the awareness is not there that it is harmful, that even in micro quantities it is harmful. And if those micro quantities daily, if I am consuming, or monthly if I am inhaling and consuming via my food, it is accumulating slowly in my body to cause health harm in the future. People are not realizing that. This is the level of ignorance about this. And it is coming from my flowers now, it is coming from, and again coming back to the trees, where if you thought it was a off tangent topic, it is not. Same area where there are 20 trees and only 10 humans, you have cut down the trees. Now even though the number of trees are same, half the trees are now cut down for wood and other purposes, only half of the plants are remaining. Now even in those half of the healthy plants that are remaining, or even partially healthy plants that are remaining, if I'm continuously adding these chemicals that cause me breathing problem, you think the tree is not going to have any breathing problem? Tree is also having a breathing problem, because of which the quality of oxygen released by the trees, or quantity of oxygen released by the trees, is not sufficient now. Either if the tree is completely polluted, some trees could have even mutated to breathing out not oxygen but something else. And some trees could be giving us oxygen, but if a tree was, say, giving us, I don't know how many molecules of oxygen a tree releases, say 100 molecules, it was supposed, in a healthier state it is able to release 100 molecules. Now it is only releasing 20 molecules. Imagine that human who was breathing 100 molecules of oxygen, now breathing only 20 molecules. Will that human be able to survive with those 20 molecules of oxygen when your lungs are, or will you also start having health issues? So that's why ratio and number of trees in an area doesn't determine if the quality of health of that area. The trees have to be clean, organic, chemical free, pest free, chemicals from human activity free as well. Because like in my grandmother's garden, where she had a beautiful garden many years back, now half the plants are not growing only in that garden anymore. Why? Because human activity in that area has increased. Earlier, when in that same locality there were only 100 houses, now there are 1,000 houses in that locality. And imagine, from thousands of humans, now more than 1,000 humans are living, that means, in that area. And when more than 1,000 humans are living, where earlier only 100 humans were living, what is happening, our activities of perfume sprays, cologne, shaving cream, toothpaste, detergent, shampoos, washing, cleaning stuff, everything. It is a village like area, so for most of the village like town like areas of West Bengal, whatever cleaning, and this is true not just of West Bengal, I have seen this in Udaipur, I have seen this in Goa, these towns. I've also observed a little bit of it in Indore, but I couldn't stay in Indore, there was so much pollution there. I ran away from Indore within half a day. I couldn't stay half a day or one day. So whatever it is, basically is that the air pollution and water pollution levels increases when humans are doing health harming activities, nature harming activities, which causes, after the water has become polluted in that same garden, my aunt couldn't, what I saw in the garden where my aunt also started raising plants after my grandmother had died, but whatever plants, she was only raising flowering plants, and many of her flowering plants are the kind which needs less water now, because the more water needing plants are not able to sustain in those areas, or if the more water plants don't have good clean water, they will die eventually. And any human being who thinks that only for maintaining the ratio, once my plants have died, I will go and buy some more plants or go and get some more plants from the gardener and keep just replenishing the plants every day with new plant, because many rich people do this too. Like if you are rich enough, or even if you're rich, not rich, you're unaware enough, you will continue replenishing the plant instead of observing, why are my plants dying, what should I do to make sure that this plants stay healthy, why am I not able to. And while the plants are dying, is it that my aunt's health hasn't deteriorated? It has. She has also started getting allergies from multiple things. I'm trying to raise her awareness, but she's not ready to listen. When people think for allergies I'll take medicine and I'll be fine, but there is a limit to which allergy medications will work for you. When the chemical load is high in your body, how much ever you give your body anti-allergy medicine, allopathic medicine, first of all, most allergy medications property is to suppress the symptom of allergy happening in your body. So if someone is having an allergic response to chemicals in the air or chemicals in their food, which is giving them a respiratory distress, I go and take a inhalational medicine that the doctor gives me. The function of the inhalational medicine is to asthma medicine or any inhalational corticosteroid inhaler, whatever the doctor will give, that's function is, and this literally happened to me, that's why I'm telling you this. I was given a corticosteroid inhaler when my lungs were showing malfunction and it was not optimally functioning. I didn't realize at that time the reason why my lungs were not optimally functioning is because I had sprayed pesticides in my home, and I had 3-4 years of pesticide spraying, some done by me, some done by the local people who live in that area, some done by people who were municipality, whatever pest control was being done, all of it slowly in a span of 3-4 years had impacted my lung health. I didn't realize it, and eventually when I did go to the doctor gave me a steroidal inhaler. It did relieve my symptom, it caused my lungs to feel better, but the main thing that stopped me from that caused me from actually becoming better in health is when I moved to the area where pesticides were less. And my lung function, even though now I am again getting breathing problems, heart problems, my lung is showing that my lung is functioning well, but my cardiac system has also got damaged from pesticide exposure, both outside India and in India. Because my initial symptom was a heart symptom, but her tests couldn't detect my heart problem. In India, the tests that I have done and a doctor did, they detect that I have heart malfunction happening, but the doctor assumed that this cardiac test thing is okay and normal, because according to his study, women have this malfunction normally. But he hasn't done the deeper digging that even though women might have this abnormal anomaly showing up in their health, and it is a common thing that can be found in certain population of women, it might mean something more that you might have to, that woman might have to take care of her health. Now even if my doctor doesn't realize it, even if he's a cardiologist who doesn't realize it, that there is a health impact, I am realizing it every time I breathe a cardiac impacting chemical from be it a pesticide, be it a fungicide. Immediately my cardiac responses also show the indication that this is harmful to my health. Immediately I myself feel a tightness in my chest, or I feel a distress in breathing and speaking when some chemical in the environment is causing something. And because my body is not in optimal function, my skin also starts showing symptoms immediately. And not just my skin, in West Bengal, recently when I went to West Bengal, I had also gone and visited some of my family. I had also gone and lived in random places and homestays in West Bengal. Now those places, the ratio of trees in that area is much higher than the number of trees in Navi Mumbai also, in some of these places. But even though the ratio of trees were higher, I still had breathing distress in those areas, because those places, or not just breathing distress, my skin was getting darker and darker, because my cardiovascular system was impacted, my circulatory system was impacted, my respiratory system was impacted from the chemicals they are spraying there. In West Bengal, they spray a lot of fungicides. So the fungicides have raised, first of all, fungal content is high in those areas, even though, because even when fungicides are being sprayed, I saw some homes have mold content high, some homes have fungus in their water supply, some places multiple things are there which are going wrong in West Bengal in different areas. But the fungal content was high, mold content was high. Mold and fungus both can impact our body's functions. People haven't done the studies of it. They only know for fungus that it can, certain symptoms about fungal infection they know, but when it's not simple infection, when you're exposed to fungus from your water supply and air supply, there are much more health impacting things that can happen to people. And though it may or may not have been studied, I don't know, but observationally I found many health impacting factors inside my health also, and the health of the people who live in that area. And people are not raised and awakened to how their daily chemical usages are impacting their own health, and they are thinking, if I take a medicine it will stop my symptoms. It doesn't. And people are dying also as a result of cardiac arrest, respiratory arrest, but they are just thinking it's a cardiac arrest, we can't do anything about it. But you can. My cardiac health is the worst amongst anyone I know, I feel. But even though my cardiac health is probably one of the worst cardiac health of amongst say I'm 40 plus, and any 40-year-old might have better cardiac health than me. But anyone who has better cardiac health than me, if he is also exposed to these same chemicals, unaware that these chemicals are impacting his health, or taking medicines in a way that will actually stop signaling to him what is happening to his health, one day these same chemicals will cause his death, which is what has happened in COVID. 40-year-old people have not died simply because the virus came and impacted their respiratory organs. Many people, COVID patients, pathologists have done these studies. They have found their blood was very gooey. Their organs had multiple organ failure. You know why the gooey blood is coming? The gooey blood is coming because, and my blood has gone gooey, but I can't even get the doctor to see that in my reports, blood reports, RBC's sedimentation rate and all that was indicating that my blood is getting poisoned by the pesticide. Everything was there in my report. But and I have studied some pathology, I have studied some clinical stuff. That's why I understand my reports better than a doctor has done in India, or multiple doctors have done in India. And that's why I'm talking about it, because you will keep going to a doctor, but if the doctor's level of awareness of the reason why you're getting sick is not as high as someone else who may have some knowledge, or even if the doctors also knew that my blood is going gooey, but if I have, say, cardiac problem, blood spoiled, respiratory system failure, liver failure, one medicine will impact another organ, another medicine will impact another organ. You have to do very careful treatment of a patient when multiple organs are damaged in that person. And multiple organ damages can only happen with chemical exposures from multiple sources, then only multiple organ damages are there in all of us. Right now I can guarantee tell you, whoever is living in those West Bengal areas have one or other organ damage. It's just that they are not unaware. I mean, they are unaware of where their health problem lies. And some people who are getting 100 of symptoms or 5-6 symptoms like me, if they go and get tested, they might detect cancer, they might detect organ damage, but only one organ's damage and one organ's cancer is detected, when the root source of their problem is likely 2-3 different problems going on at the same time, which when 2-3 problems are going on, you're not at the diagnostic level of one disease, but in the functional level you are at a functional level of when it's like how do I explain this? Say at work, your boss gives you one job to do usually, but suddenly because of COVID your job is giving you 3 jobs to do because 2 other co-workers are not there. You will be swamped up, 3 things are happening, and the doctor and the person who gives you this job, now if one person is doing 3 persons job, if your normal job output was once a week putting some output to the boss, that once a week output will have to be now once in 3 weeks only you can do that same output because you're doing 2 other jobs. But if your boss doesn't realize that you will need 3 weeks now to do the same work that you were doing in 1 week, and your boss insists that no, I want it done in 2 weeks, even if you try to do it in 2 weeks, eventually you will fall sick because you're stressing your body, doing more work than you can handle. Same way, our body is like that. If my body was fighting only one illness, the way it can fight one illness, if suddenly, and it takes like say 1 week or 2 weeks or 1 month to recover from that illness, now if 3 illnesses are going on, am I going to be sicker or am I going to be the same level as when I have got only 1 illness going on in my body? I'll be sicker, but I will be sicker, but diagnostically the doctor may not get that disease to show up in the body because maybe I am doing only my body is only showing 1/3 of the symptom that it will show right now, when that disease will probably, like say if it is cancer, say the cancer can take 10 years to develop, and if in a normal person only cancer was developing, the 10 years when the cancer is developing, if in the 7th year I go, I might be sick, but it might still not be in the diagnostic level of a doctor's criteria, but the cancer is still going to keep developing if carcinogens are there in my environment. The only way I will get less sick is if I move away from that place where the cancer causing harm has gone. But if I move and my cancer causing harm was from my own activities, then also I will continue progressing in the cancer, right? So what activities are causing my cancer determines my health. If activities related to my personal lifestyle choices causes it, I can stop doing those activities. But the activities which is outside my control, society has to stop doing those activities. Otherwise, people will continue in the trajectory of having illnesses and feeling tired. There are many of us who are feeling tired, fatigued, sleepy, hyper anxious, not being able to eat, appetite loss, having psychosis, doing many things are happening as a result of pesticide exposure, fungicide exposure, skin problem. If your water is polluted from water pollution, you are cooking your food, cleaning your food, your cardiovascular system is damaged, your livers might be damaged, you might have gallstones, you might have kidney stones, multiple things are happening to multiple people based on the different chemicals that are impacting their health. But if doctors are only stuck in one paradigm, or if you as a patient are in denial that your water supply is great, and if 10 people are healthy but only one person is sick, that means that person is the problem, or is there really water pollution going on, right? Because water pollution problem may not impact all 10 at the same time, and if it is impacting also all 10, one will get skin allergy, one will get lung damage, one will get liver damage, because the one who is getting liver damage might be taking a lot of medicines. So liver is trying to process a lot of chemicals out, that's why they have liver damage. One who is getting cardiac damage might be a person who takes a lot of cardiac stress at work and other things. their cardiac system, that's why is damaged. One who's getting blood related problems might be a very cleanliness oriented person, and they're absorbing it from they might be taking 10-minute shower, whereas their family takes only 1-minute shower. So the one who takes 10-minute shower, half an hour shower, they're absorbing more of the chemicals from the water. One who is doing a lot of cooking in the home, and because they are doing cooking, if they are a mindful cook and washing all the vegetables, all the pesticides, vegetable washes, other chemicals on your food is getting absorbed via your hands into you, right? So the one who cooks the most will get the cancer first. So, but just because the one who cooked the food most got the cancer first, does it mean the other 4 people who cooked the food less in that home are not getting any other symptoms of the same chemical that is impacting the mom's health? No, everyone else has some other disease going on, but because they do less cleaning, less care of water based activities, their water pollution related health impact is less. But if it is a water pollution health problem, everyone will show symptoms in some way or the other. So this is where we have to reduce earth pollution, water pollution, air pollution, and number of plants will not help us if the plants are being raised the wrong way. If your plants are dying continuously, it means you have water pollution, air pollution, nutrition problems for the plant. If you continuously spray fungicide, pesticide, other chemicals in your body, outside your body, on your plants, everything is impacting our air, water, earth, and eventually impacting our health. That's why people didn't die of just coronavirus. People are dying of chemical pollution plus coronavirus, which is what people have to understand. If they don't, we are on the trajectory to death only, all of us. None of us are in the trajectory of good health, because yoga will not help, meditation will not help, because for yoga, for meditation, for any kind of mindfulness activity, for any kind of activity related to energy healing, all of which needs what? Basic core thing we all need is still clean air, clean water, clean food. And we don't have clean air, clean water, clean food in majority of the earth right now. That's why majority of the people either died of COVID, or majority of the people are also in a long COVID trajectory, because they haven't resolved the other conditions that are responsible for their organ damage and poor health. If you are any patient who is still alive after COVID, had organ damage in his patient history, had circulatory system problems, cardiovascular system problem, respiratory system problem, guaranteed tell you, if you don't reduce your air, water, food, clothing pollution related problems, the pain and length of that whatever symptom you are experiencing right now is going to continue, because the root cause has not gone from your life. My health trajectory, that's why some days I look better, some days I look worse, some days I am okay, some days I'm not okay, and I'm just posting all these videos because I don't know when I will die, and I can't waste hours doing a research article on this, because the research data on this exists, but I don't have the energy to spend hours of my brain power and other power doing this, when there are so many multiple levels of things people are doing wrong that needs to be fixed by the people, not by reading a research article. That's why I'm making videos. This is the best way to tell you what is already actually there. The data for each of these chemicals causing organ damage and other health problems has already been studied, and it's there in some medical journal. Just someone has to compile the right data, someone has to click the right data. I have clicked the right data also, but if you don't trust me, believe me, and if you continue doing exactly what you have been doing for years and years of your life, either your health is getting harmed, but along with your health, everyone else's health in your life is also getting harmed. And people who are very averse to listening to people who say negative things, they are like, oh, you're talking negative, that's why this is happening. No, this has got nothing to do with me talking negative and that's why this is happening. This is a fact. Fact can't change if you don't do the right thing to change that fact from manifesting. My breathing problems if related to the agarbatti use, I stopped using agarbatti, it went away related to agarbatti use. But my breathing problem related to pesticide exposure is still not going away. Every time someone uses a pesticide, if they are not mindful that it is harming health, it is harming their health also. But if they are not mindful, they might be thinking, I will go to a doctor and take expensive medicine. You will take it, but it will still harm someone in your body, someone in your family. Some baby will die, some child will die, some elderly is dying, and you are careless. You're sitting and thinking medicine is going to solve the problem, when the main problem is medicine has its limits. Medicine has its limits, medicine has its side effects. If multiple things are going wrong, medicine can't fix it, which is why patients died. Because your body's competency can only be supported by a medicine. Main body's functional health needs clean air, water, food, clothing, place where you live, all these things, and what things you do. And coming back to the agarbattis and other things that are using now plant products to make these agarbattis, or plant sources for making holy colors. Again, if those flowers used for making the agarbatti or making the holy colors, or whatever vegetables also dyes are used for making the holy colors, if those vegetables, if those plants, if those original plant sources don't use right ways in raising those plants, if they have been using chemicals to raise those plants, you will get allergy even from a plant source. So that's why just the plant and organic and natural tag is the least they are doing. Anyone can sell a product with a natural plant tag on it, but it will be only health supportive if that product actually had no chemical exposure. I literally went to the organic farmers market in the mall, where the mall people or the municipality from which some mall people were doing it, they are spraying chemicals to keep their area clean of pests. But you know what is going on? You are in an organic farmers market trying to sell organic products. Is the product organic anymore if you are spraying pesticide in your product or near your product? It fails as an organic product. Your manufacturer did so much mehnat, so much manufacturer, supplier, the plant that was raised to create the, like, I'm buying neem comb from them, I'm buying brushes and loofahs, and I want to buy a pot from them, I want to buy a organic pot, I want to cook in organic healthy pottery and organic healthy wooden salad bowls and all these things I want to buy. But if I have bought an organic salad bowl which has been sprayed around it, someone has sprayed pesticide, or if not in the mall, someone in my home, my maid is spraying pesticides around there, organic label is gone. It doesn't matter what source that product was, it has chemicals now. So what does organic and natural, health aligned, sustainable living mean? You have to understand what these concepts mean. The unlabeled, those people who get fixated on a word without understanding what that word means, this is why we have this problem on earth. Because yes, you bought an organic product, but if the manufacturer, after manufacturing or even before, for a product to stay organic, stay health supportive, stay sustainable, if other conditions related to it is not there, label doesn't matter. I can buy a $100 organic product, $5 organic product, and in each of them, if every step they did the right thing, the manufacturer did the right thing, the person who raised the plant did the right thing, the person who made that product for me did the right thing, everyone did the right thing. But in the last stage, in my home itself, I don't understand what organic means, and I am very cool about using a wooden spoon, but I will wash it with chemicals. What is the benefit of the wooden spoon if I am soaking it in chemicals every day and washing it in chemicals? Nothing. If my home water supply is gone, it doesn't matter if I'm using if I'm using an organic wooden spoon, I'm adding more health harm, because wood will absorb more of the chemical waters. Like literally, now you have to know what is the right balance of using an organic product and where you can use an organic product, why you should use it and why you shouldn't also use it. These things, if you don't use your brains to think, if you don't you do mindfully the activities as a cook, as a homemaker, as a mother, as a father, as a child, as a elderly person in a home, if in none of these levels you are mindfully doing any activity, your health will fail. I didn't do mindfully some activities, that's why my health is failing. And there are some activities around me people don't do mindfully, that's why also my health is failing. So if you want better health, do you have to jointly work with your family, jointly understand the problems of your family, jointly understand the societal problems which are causing us to have poor health? Can pujas and meditations and celebrations help you when you're falling sick? One day it can help you when you are, if you are 100% physically fit or 70% physically fit, and you go and eat all this nonsense products and wear clothes sprayed with toxic pesticides, nothing will happen. But daily, if I'm only getting toxic pesticide laced clothes from my local market, am I going to be healthy or am I going to be unhealthy? If today after Holi celebrations, people go and eat in the same mall where I am eating, where these clothes are being bought, where the same they go to the mall or they go to a different mall, where some other chemical is being used. Doesn't matter. If chemical pollution is everywhere, in my place there might be more pesticide use related chemical pollution, in some other city more fungicide used chemical pollution, in another city more soap used chemical pollution. My health will still deteriorate in all three cities, just in three different ways. And if I am a traveler who travels to three different cities, my health will deteriorate according to three different cities, water, air, clothes, food pollution levels. But my health can't go in a better direction until everyone, me and everyone around me, is going in that same direction. Right? Does this make sense? I hope it does. It is a long video and this is a very much needed concept, because there is a reason why people die during Holi, there is a reason why people die during Diwali, there is a reason why even if you are suddenly you use natural colors and then also you're getting allergy, you have to understand why you're getting the allergy. Because natural tag means nothing if that plant was not raised the right way. And natural tag also means nothing. And if you are a child, or if you have children, or if you're an adult with already multiple allergies that have manifested on you, it already means your body has some organ damage, organ failure going on continuously. But skin allergy is an organ failure of my skin. That is what people are not understanding. My skin is already showing symptoms of all organ failure, of not being able to handle the level of chemicals that my body is daily getting exposed to, from the water, from the air, from the clothes, from the food. There are so many sources I am getting ill from. And I gave up. I told God, if I'm going to die, I'm going to die. I can't do anything about it, because I was at such a debilitating stage where I couldn't move from my bed. But people look at my posts and think, oh wow, she's having fun, that's why she's writing these posts. No, that also people have no perception about. People don't write about posts if they were having fun. If I was having fun, would I have time to write, or would I be having fun? If I was a busy human being doing work, would I sit and write reams and reams of things that someone else needs to learn about? Or would I be doing some work? This is also work, but this is a different kind of work that people have to understand. And I'm doing that work because I'm sick, because I can't have the energy to go and do the actual physical exerted work, energy related work. I don't have that much energy. I can maximum make these 1.5 hour videos, or write a post that takes me 1.5 hour to write. But daily, because writing and speaking, the energy required for writing and speaking is much less compared to energy required for, and thinking also needs some energy, and thinking is the easiest thing I have done all my life. So when I am in the sickest phase, thinking is possible for me, that's why I'm doing the thinking. But physical activities, who is able to do the physical activities, if they don't do the right research work and they are thinking I am physically fit, so it doesn't matter if my mom is ill or my sister is ill or my brother is ill, then you have lost the plot about why people are falling sick in COVID or any other disease states. Those who are thinkers, they will think and tell you what is wrong, but there are doers also who have to do. So if I just say and none of the doers understand what they have to do, this problem doesn't get resolved. If a researcher makes this, and the researcher, the researcher or whoever translated the research article that I read and referenced here, he is unaware about the depth of what is needed for health. If he thinks that 10 trees or 100 trees are enough for making a place health supportive, you have to know which kind of trees did you plant. If they are not oxygen giving trees, again you will not get oxygen. If they are oxygen giving trees but you are not raising it the right way, again they will not give you the right health and right oxygen. If there are number of trees that, but the number of trees have are less in number compared to the number of humans in that area, again you are not being health supportive. There are so many dimensions, depths, and this depth and dimension think नहीं करोगे तो कहाँ से आएगा? You have to think first, mindfully do first. If you don't do mindfully any job, and if you don't pay someone good salary, वो mindfully कहाँ से करेगा? उसको तो जो सैलरी ही नहीं मिल रही mindfully कुछ काम करने का. And if you are ruining all this, someone who is rich, he can eat 10 bananas, 10 whatever they eat, 10 bananas randomly said, but say you eat 10 kinds of food and you are healthy, but a poor person doesn't eat 10 kinds of food like you do. They eat only one type of food. So if their one food group is completely bananas, I am saying because of this, bananas are the first getting rotting away so easily nowadays in this weather, and banana is a poor man's food. You're not even providing the poor man any food. The poor man, if he dies, the person who is doing your gardening, if they die, who will do your work also for you? So do you have to start paying them well? Do you have to start thinking about what food they should eat, what clothes they should wear, what earth I should build for them? If you are a builder, if you are a high class society person, if you don't think pandemic will continue in another way, that's why pandemic is not gone. People think it's gone, but it's not gone, because the conditions related to it are not gone. In the past, when past epidemic happened before this, over hundreds years back, I don't remember which year it happened, but in that past epidemic, there were social systems that were unsupportive of people's health. While a bacteria caused the death, and animals infected with that bacteria were given the culprit tag for the death of so many humans, actual death cause was the human activities that led to the bacterial growth, that led to these animals becoming toxic, because they do the same thing. Their bloods were poisoned, they were not living in good health supportive conditions. There was density of population was high. Any place where density of population is high, human activities are high, human chemical usages are high, all of that impact the overall health of the small scale animals to the large scale animals. And while that small bacteria that came from whichever small insect killed the smaller rats and dogs and everything, pets, everyone was dying, and then from just by touching them humans were dying, this is what they thought. But that is not true. The humans, you died from a small bacteria, because if you know Christianity, there is a story of David and Goliath. David was a small human who toppled the Goliath, who was a tall human. So that's why a small bacteria or a small virus is toppling our health. But the small bacteria and the small virus is able to topple us, because that's the last thing that is wrong with our health, that our health can't sustain anymore. But before that bacteria came and touched those humans in the epidemic of the past, and the virus came and touched those humans in the pandemic of the present, you who are still alive because there are many health supporting factors still present in your life. But there are still many health harming factors that are also present in people's lives who have the long covid and organ damage and cancer and other diseases going on in their body currently, and also diseases where they are going from doctor to doctor but no doctor is able to figure out their disease, because what is wrong with their health is water pollution, air pollution, clothes pollution, food pollution related slowly developing organ damage, slowly developing organ system malfunctions, slowly but surely developing trajectory of painful or long death, both of which are the worst thing. In fact, those who died from the pandemic or past epidemic via just simple touch of a virus or bacteria, they got the grace from God to die better death, because the slow painful death I have never wished for myself, but I am in the slow painful death trajectory. So anyways, I hope this was meaningful. I hope this has given you some food for thought, and if anyone wants to discuss any of the topics that I have mentioned here, please drop a comment and I can further take the discussion if it is a topic I understand better and I can talk about. So, and whatever in this video is confusing to you, if you raise a question, I am happy to answer more deeply on that topic. Thank you very much. Have a good day.